Okay, so in this exercise, we have some code that we've already written, and your goal is to fix it so we get the outcome that we desire. We want to run a program from the command line like this, using Ruby pyramid.rb, and then pass an argument, in this case 5, and it should print out a pyramid 5 rows tall, like the one below. And if we do the same thing with 23 as the argument, it should print out a pyramid 23 rows tall. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take the code and copy and paste it into my pyramid.rb file that I've created in my text editor. And I'm going to take a look at this and see if there's anything I don't understand. The one thing that looks crazy is this arvg argument that's set equal to height on the top. So this looks like a good chance for me to go try to learn what argv means. So I'm going to Google it and go check out the Ruby docs for it. And so now I can see that when you're running a program from the command line, you can pass it arguments after the fact, like we're doing in ours. In ours, our arguments passed is 5. But it looks like in this example that these arguments for both file 1 and file 2 are stored in an array called argv. So now we can go back and look at our program. And when we go back to our program, we re-examine our height equals argv and the array value of 0, which would be the argument that we passed 5, because that would be the 0 value of the array. So now let's go to the command line and actually run our program. So I'll type in Ruby pyramid.rb and then pass it the argument we want to use for our height, which is 5. So then when we run the program, we can see that we get an error. So let's inspect what this error says. It says undefined method times for 5, which is a string. So I can go back and I can look at my code and I can see that height.times, well, height is actually a string value. So that needs to be changed to an integer because times is a method for integers. So I'm going to call the toI method on height. Now I can go back and run my program again, and I can see that it runs without an error this time, but it's not exactly what I want. I wanted 5 rows. This only has 4. So I'm going to go back and try to figure out why this is happening. So what I'm going to do is, I guess since there's 4 instead of 5, something's wrong with my counter. So my counter is this I value in my loop. So what I want to do is p out my I value so I can see if there's something going on with it. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can see that it's starting at 0 and going to 4. Now that is 5 times, but it's not 5 stars. So when I go back and look at my code, I can see I'm doing the star value times 0, which is doing nothing. So what I need to do is start at 1. So I'm going to go and manipulate that I value so that it actually starts at 1 and then counts to 5. So now we can go back and run our code again, and we'll see that, okay, perfect. Now we have 1 through 5 as our stars. So let's go ahead and test that with 23, which was our other example we were asked to do. So there's 23 as our argument, and it works.